Hi, so my name's Chuy Benitez. I am a photographer originally from El Paso, now working and teaching in Houston. I consider myself a cultural Chicano documentary photographer. I myself am Chicano, but have just mostly taken on the Latino community in Houston and Texas in general on as subject matter. I've also felt it kind of important to spread the medium of panoramic photography. It's something that has been very commercially done in the history of photography, but not really taken on as a serious documentary format. So I've kind of actually just simply challenged myself to really see what the possibilities would be with panoramic photography. And I guess to go along, start there and along those lines of what I've kind of thought about is, of course, as I guess you could say 20th/21st century photo students, we've all been told about the decisive moment, Henry Cartier-Bresson, and the way that I challenged that, or I felt that I was at first challenging that, was with the fact that I digitally stitched my images, and so instead of being a decisive moment, I kind of switched it to a decisive minute or so of kind of capturing a stitched pan and really trying to capture action in community scenes with my work. And so I first at first thought I was fighting the decisive moment, but then really kind of realized I ended up expanding upon the idea of the decisive moment. Now I realize my work kind of goes with that thought, especially after I saw Henry Cartier-Bresson's, or the publication of his work called Scrapbook, and saw all of his contact sheets and realized, that his shooting style, or at least my shooting style, kind of reverberated with his, of just shooting as much as possible, and of course later on editing down and seeing what you get, or deciding which image. The decisive moment is deciding which of the 12 negatives that you shot is really the best and really the one to present. And it goes to that magic of the editing power of photography. But the aspect that I fought with my work in terms of Cartier-Bresson's was really the panoramic view versus the camera view. He did believe, or at least from what I know, believed in kind of seeing everything through the camera, really shooting through the camera. That was the way to see the world, and so many other photographers followed that idea. And for me, I went with panoramic photography because to me it's closer to my own natural vision, having a peripheral vision, just being able to absorb 180-degree view versus just a 50 millimeter 45-degree point of view. Yeah, the good thing about being here at SPE is these kinds of discussions have kind of floated in about my work. It's been a nice thing to kind of rediscover a lot of the hows and the whys of why I'm doing my own work. Where I started with the subject matter of my photographs, and what has been shown actually within the publication, when I got to have a spread within En Foco, was my thesis work in Houston of really trying to capture, with the digital panorama, really trying to show community events where it was just big groups of people in Houston within the Latino community, whether it be a birthday party, whether it be a protest, or mariachis playing in the supermarket, is a pretty fun image that I was able to capture. Just the chaos that there is within communities, but ordered chaos. Everybody within that, there's 200 people in the supermarket image. Everybody knows what they're doing, though. They are checking out, or they're in the mariachi group, or they're listening to the mariachi group, or kind of somewhere in between. So it was really trying to order the chaos in the same way that I had seen done actually within Mexican muralism. So Diego Rivera took on some very complicated scenes. He tried to show the whole history of Mexico in one mural, and in there's thousands of figures, but somehow you take the time to look at it, and it does make sense. And for me, it does, and maybe that's why I enjoy the format of panoramic photography. Is you're able to cram in a lot of visual information, and for those willing, it can be a blur to some, but if you're willing to actually, stop and dissect it, it is dissectable, and there is a visual language and actually a visual tradition with that. I first met Miriam Romais in Houston during PhotoFest 2006. At the time, I was a graduate student, and she, I'd met her just casually through one of my professors, and at the time, I was I was very much still a beginning photo grad, and it was a great meeting, and I learned all about, more so, learned about the organization and the Nueva Luz magazine, and she loved what I was doing, told me that she eventually wanted me as part of the magazine, and I took it as a great compliment, but for me, I felt that my work was not ready at the point. So long story short is I pushed myself, I pushed the portfolio, and just wanted to I really also made my thesis work, tried to mold it to put the best presentation forward for Nueva Luz. And the ultimate compliment I got back from Miriam was that later, I let her know, I was like, look, I worked my hardest to make it the best work it could be for the publication. And she said, yeah, I did want your work all along. I knew it was in you. And she herself just said, thank you. So it worked with the idea of, aiming to be in Nueva Luz as just the goal of, some of my work. And just now, after now actually being kind of a cover artist for Nueva Luz, I feel part of the club and just always represent it and just tell people about it.